everyone. Well, I'll call the meeting to order at 12:39 p.m. First item is the reading of the Territorial Land Acknowledgement. Before our meeting gets underway, I would like to formally recognize the traditional keepers of this land and specifically our neighbors of the Alderville First Nation with a formal territorial acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Alma Calderman is located on the Mississauga Anishinaabe territory and is the traditional territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabe. The Township of Alma Calderman respectfully acknowledges that the Mississauga Nation are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. Silence for our fallen soldiers and citizens. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof?
Yes, Your Worship. I wish to be excused for item 12 on the agenda because of conflict of interest.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hogg has declared a conflict of interest on item 12, which is the opening of a road allowance. Item 5 is the approval of the agenda as circulated. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council session of Thursday, December 2nd, 2021 be approved as circulated. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Gibson. Second.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item 7, approval of the minutes. This is the regular council minutes of November 18th, 2021. Be it resolved that the regular council session minutes of November 18th, 2021 be approved. Mover?
I'll move that.
Councillor Phillip?
I'll second.
Councillor Booth? Rising from the previous minutes, November 18th? Seeing none?
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor. On the new published agenda, the item numbering
Is different?
is different.
All right.
So some of the items that you were remembering are actually less. So item 7 will be 6, item 8 will be 7.
So I won't call the numbers.
Just because it was a newly published agenda and we have to omit the award presentation.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Okay. We have a presentation by Todd Farrell, Natural Heritage Manager, Northumberland County. And this is regarding the draft forest management plan for Northumberland County. So I'm going to call for a motion for this to get Todd on the floor with us. Be it resolved that council permit Todd Farrell, Natural Heritage Manager, Northumberland County, to take the floor to present the draft forest management plan for Northumberland County. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Deputy Mayor Gibson, second by Councillor Philp. All in favor? Carried. Hello, Todd, welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship.
I'm not sure today if we can get the presentation on the screen. Can we, Yolanda?
We can share his screen if he so wishes
So if you present with your screen, we can get it up. We've got a little technical difficulties here.
Okay, through you, your worship, it says host disabled participant screen sharing when I go to share my screen.
I just clicked on the share. Yolanda's just looking after that. You're good.
Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm going to be talking on the Northumberland County Forest Management Plan. The 2021 to 2024 is our timeline. So the county forest, originally, the first acquisition was this dark green area. County Road 45 runs through the forest here, with Coburg off the screen down at the bottom, and Hastings at the top. The county forest is in 3 townships. On the left is the township of Hamilton, and then the majority of lands is in the township of Alma, Calderman, and then a small piece down in the right in the township of Crammy. So this year, since we're approaching the 2024 acquisition date, and we are approaching 100,000 users in the forest. And those users are across Northumberland County and beyond. So the forest is many things to many people. This is a diagram of some of those things that the forest provides. Some people know the forest as recreation, and we have lots of multi-use trails, but it is also a lot of other things: health, water filtration, water control, carbon capture, nature appreciation, wildlife habitat. So though this is a small subset of what the forest does provide to the area. So this is, as I said, we're talking about the management plan. That's the 20-year plan, high level. Below that is the operating plans. So the conservation, recreation, and silviculture. So many people know about conservation and recreation and 5-year plans. Silviculture is the management of the forest. So in settlement times, a lot of the habitat was farmed, and after that there was erosion problems, and a lot of conifer trees got planted. And that is mainly what the silviculture is focused on, moving those small number of species in a conifer plantation in rows to a mixed, diverse, natural forest. So that's what we do with the process of silviculture. And below that are the policies, the annual work plans, the prescription for those harvest areas in the forest, protocols and strategies. In putting together the management plan, we looked at various things and considerations. So long-term, looking at that 20-year window, looking at the natural and cultural heritage conservation, the community engagement now and into the future, looking at those 3 areas of conservation, recreation, and forestry silviculture, and making sure that they blend and they're not in silos. And then looking at other community forests and other natural areas. The forest is 6,000 acres. So looking at other areas and some of the solutions to known concerns. This is the vision for the forest, and I'll read it out because it's important guiding the document. A county forest where the mosaic of forest, wetland, woodland, savanna, sand barren, and tallgrass prairie is a model multi-use management for the many intrinsic, ecological, and community benefits. So these are the plan sections. I won't go into each of them, but it gives you an idea of what is in the plan. The next sections, I'll go into specific goals around or in the plan and action items for those goals. The first goal is with the Indigenous community. So a community that is engaged, or sorry, is the first goal is for the community, a community that is engaged, has pride, and celebrates the Northumberland County Forest and its many values. So action 1A and B are in conjunction with the First Nations community, those signatories of the Williams Treaty Clause 2. And it looks at cultural heritage value and connections on forest management with respect to them and working together. 1C is community consultation and enhancing that and updating that and putting it into the plan. D is volunteers and a volunteer plan. And E is outreach and education, a 2-year plan followed by a 5-year plan with respect to that. Goal 2 is natural heritage conservation. So natural heritage conservation that preserves, enhances, and restores lands for the best ecological health and integrity. A looks at our habitat collection and our protocols with respect to that. B is the inventory of wildlife and target species and monitoring. C is modeling where those species are. And D is that 5-year plan that I mentioned. This is the conservation operations plan. 3 focuses on recreation, a model recreation trail system that provides high quality and safe experiences for many users. So A is looking at the forest use bylaw and the set fines with respect to that. B is one of our largest users is dog walkers, and looking at off-leash dogs and options. And C is the operations plan for recreation, like the other operations plan, and a 20-year review of access road maintenance. 4 is the silviculture program. So an exemplary silviculture program that supports conservation goals and provides social benefits. So A is looking at non-conifer harvest operations. So that would be in conjunction with if there's an invasive species outbreak, or to manage our tallgrass prairie, savanna and woodland habitats, which generally the canopy fills in. So this would be looking at that. B is timber sale and analysis. C is our 5-year silvicultural operation plan, and D is the annual harvest assessment and plan. Section 5 are goals that don't fit into any one. They are in 2 or 3. So that's what this section is. A is looking at our compartment boundary and delineation. So that's an ecological and forestry aspects there. B is the recreational and access assets and documenting those in a database. C is looking at where we are now for ecological habitat and forestry, but where we are going to, and how to go from one condition assessment to another. D, looking at the wildfire risk and control. We have prescribed burns for that habitat I mentioned, the tallgrass prairie, oak savanna, and oak woodland. This is looking at wildfire, which is unplanned, unprescribed burning in the forest. E is our land securement and looking at our boundary and demarcating the boundary edges and looking at issues along boundary edges. F is our natural area or green infrastructure and our natural assets and providing that information into the county asset management plan. And G is a financial review of our reserves. So the next steps, we've had a series of open houses, both early in, we had some in 2019, which were pre-pandemic, and then October 19th and 21st of this year, we had virtual. We have had our plan on Join in Northumberland, where residents can download and provide comments. We're doing presentations to councils across Northumberland, and we'll be working those comments in and updating the plan and taking it to Northumberland Council for approval in January and February. And that is the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Todd. I'll open it up to council if they have any questions. Anyone have questions or any comments for Todd? Where's Mike?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, I lost you for a minute. Well, thanks very much, Todd, for bringing us up to date on that. And with so much of the county forest being in our township, it's excellent that we get this information. So
Thank
thanks a
you.
lot.
Thank
All
you, Your
right.
Worship.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The next item is report number, whoops. I thought we did. Oh, okay. So I'll entertain a motion now, be it resolved that council receive Todd Farrell's Natural Heritage Manager report on Northumberland County Forest. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Hogg, second by Deputy Mayor Gibson. All in favor? Carried. Okay. The next one is report number FD 2021-10 from Dave Dawson, Fire Chief. Open air fires, and it's a revision to our bylaw. And be it resolved that report number FD 2021-10 from Dave Dawson, Fire Chief, dated December 2nd, 2021, open air fires bylaw revisions be received and filed. And further, that council review and adopt the bylaw number 139-2021 for open air fires and Schedule A associated. Could I have a mover, please, to get this on the floor? Deputy Mayor Gibson, second. Councillor Hogg. Okay, Dave, we'll let you take us through this.
Morning, Your Worship and Council. Thank you all very much for hearing about this. Basically the changes to the bylaw are bringing the size of the regularly allowed fires to 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. The reason for that is because under the regular burn permit in the past, the allowable size has been 10 foot squared, which is of considerable size. A normal size fire for heat, warmth, cooking, etc., we find that 3 feet is an acceptable level with respect to good fire safety behaviors. We're not saying that you can't burn over 3 feet. We're certainly saying that you can, just that we want the ability to do an inspection before approving that burn permit. And an inspection can happen by 2 different ways. One is by visiting the property and identifying that, yes, the area that you're going to burn meets the requirements of the bylaw, meaning the setback requirements and safety. The other is to provide, and the other can be to provide a Google Earth map identifying where you plan to burn on your property. And if everything conforms with the bylaw from that document, then everybody is fine to continue doing what they're doing. The other thing that we've done in identifying the different types of permits is we've also added the ability for an agricultural burn permit, as there are a lot of rural farmers that like to do fence row clearing and or trying to clear some unused brush area that they want to add for farmland. When we get into those size of fires, our limit on those are about 25 feet. But they have to conform to a certain area and they have to meet our requirement for inspection. So really at the end of the day, the only reason for the change is just to provide some additional fire safety for the community, given that we have a lot of reforestation area here and that our fire risk, as we call it, our fire load, is fairly high.
Thanks, Dave. Any questions from council?
that you cannot burn when winds are greater than 8 kilometers an hour always been in our bylaw?
I'm sorry, but the first part of your sentence was cut off.
The stipulation in the bylaw number 1, this permit is not valid when winds are greater than 8 kilometers an hour. Is that new?
No,
So who determines the 8 kilometers an hour? Is that the call center?
it was just put in there as a provision. What I've found with the research of different communities, there are different variations for every different bylaw. I'll give 2 examples. Hamilton Township does not allow any daytime burning at all, according to the burning bylaw. Trent Hills Township only allows 2 feet by 2 feet fires, and their oversized fires are limited to 5 feet in size. So we still have a fairly elastic burn bylaw here. And all we're trying to do is just add another level of fire safety. That's it.
So, but the 8 kilometers is new to our bylaw.
No, it is not.
It is
Uh,
not.
Not to my
So-
understanding.
So, so if I'm calling in for a burn, who determines the wind speed?
The responsibility is on the permit holder for the fire. So you are, in your best interest, you would go to something like the Weather Network and you would determine what is the wind speed.
Okay,
And then you would know whether or not you could burn or should be burning that day. But the onus is on the individual landowner and the permit holder to comply with the bylaw.
thank you.
Counselor Booth?
Through you, your worship, to Dave. Dave, could you explain just a little bit about number 3 when it talks about with the exception of municipal licensed campgrounds? So are they inspected separately, or what's different from them from a regular person having a fire pit in the back?
Yeah, so the main difference is that we have an entity, call it industrial or what have you, that's different than just an individual ownership of property, but they're paying taxes on a different level than our other residents. So they have a high occupancy area. And in that area, they want a special opportunity to be able to burn fires for camping, be it warmth, cooking meals, etc. So what they're conformed to is they have to have a metal, call it a cistern, but a metal container for the fire. It's usually like an old truck tire rim. Our limit are usually somewhere in around 1.5 feet wide to 2 feet wide, and that each camp unit is allowed to have one, provided that it meets the specific requirements of distances from any burnable building, let's say. The other thing is that those facilities are inspected mandatorily once per year, so that we go through and that we have a great idea of what it is that they're doing, and that they conform with our bylaw and with our setback requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Vote on this motion that I read. No. Don't need to read it again. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Counselor Phillip has had to leave the meeting, and I think it was about 1:02 when he left. The next report number FD 2021-11, again from Dave Dawson, Fire Chief, dated December 2nd, and it's regarding appointment of a Deputy Fire Prevention Chief. I'm going to read the motion first and then get you to speak to it, Dave. Be it resolved that report number FD 2021-11 from Dave Dawson, Fire Chief, dated December 2nd, 2021, reappointment of Deputy Fire Prevention Chief be received and filed. And further, that council approve the recommendation of the Fire Chief to appoint Rob Gourd as Deputy Fire Prevention Chief by bylaw effective December 2nd, 2021. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Booth, second. Councillor Hogg. Okay, Dave.
Thank you, Your Worship. This appointment that I'm asking for, making recommendation to council for, follows along with one of the last requirements in our ENR bylaw, which can be referenced as bullet point number 5, which is the appointment of a fire deputy fire prevention chief. Rob Gourd in the last year has completed all of his requirements for Inspector 1 under the NFPA and the Ontario Fire Marshal's Office requirements, and has been doing some work actively with the fire department with regards to inspections of businesses and schools. And this is a part-time position that was already created a couple months ago that we had brought to council. So that is the gist of why I'm asking for that appointment. So it is not changing anything that we currently have. It's identifying the existing position that was already created. And it really doesn't change Rob Gourd's position within the fire department.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? No, calling for the vote. All in favor? Carried. The next report is from, thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
The next report is from Daryl Hall, CBO, MBEO, Planning Assistant dated today, and it's the building permit summary. Be it resolved that the report from Daryl Hall, CBO, MBEO, Planning Assistant dated December 2nd, 2021, rebuilding permit summary, November 2021, be received and filed, but we're going to let Daryl walk us through this in case there's any questions. Could I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Gibson, second. Councillor Hogg. Okay, Daryl.
Okay, well, thank you, Worship, and good afternoon to council. This is just for information purposes. It's my building permit summary for the month as dated the end of November. So it's just typical where we are with building permits this year and what we've issued and the money and stuff that we've brought in and the type of permit that was issued for. So I don't know if council has any questions, but I can certainly answer them if there is.
I'll ask. Anybody got any questions? No? I got one. Do you think we're going to make the 54 this year?
Dwellings?
Or I guess the other thing is that also as part of that, building permits being processed, are they counted into your above numbers? There's 17.
No,
No? Okay.
so
they're
there's 17 that we still have here that might be 1 or 2 that have gone out since this report, but there's 17. Unfortunately, we had one come in today that said they are going to they want us to take it off the table for now until they decide. It wasn't a dwelling or anything, but until they decide further in the future if they want to carry on with the permit. So that's probably down to 16 there, but yeah. So are we going to meet 54 new dwellings? I'm not sure. We got a month here. We do have 1 or 2 on the desk, so that's going to add a couple to that. So I would say we're going to at least get to 50 anyways of the dwellings.
Good. Thank you.
Well,
All in favor? Carried. So your next report, Daryl, is the roof repair at Centerton Community Center. Be it resolved that the report from Daryl Hall, CBO, MBEO, Planning Assistant dated December 2nd, 2021, roof repair at the Centerton Community Center be received. And further, council will have to give direction on this after his report, but we'll get it on the floor to listen to that first. Could I have a mover? Sherry? Second? Jim? Okay. This has been quite the issue with this roof in the last little bit. So we'll let you take us through it, Daryl.
yeah, and again, this is just more for, I guess, information purposes for council. Maybe wondering at budget time why we had to add some money in again to fix the roof, which we've already had some attempts over the years. It's an unfortunate situation. It's for lack of better words, it's tough when you tie old building into new building. You have some flat portions, you have some structures up on top of the roofs that could create some leakage areas. So like I stated in the report, we fixed it once around the bell tower where it seemed to be leaking and it helped for a while. There must be another area where it's coming in, but water's hard to chase. It could be coming in on one side and just happen to be that's the point where it comes out. So we need to look at it again. So like I stated, it's a process of elimination. We fix one point, and then if it doesn't work, then the contractor has to look at another spot. The budgeting that we put in there, it was just a quote that I did receive from the contractor. I mean, if council wants us to continue to try to get it fixed, I can go after some more quotes as well. That was just to try to get some money in the budget so that we can, we can look at other areas to fix on this roof and hopefully get it done. So yeah, the gist of the report was just for information why we needed to put money in the budget to fix it.
Okay, thank you. I'll open it to council for questions. Councillor Hogg?
I was wondering, Dale, you think maybe we should look at the design before we spend any extra money? Or because if the design is wrong, it may never be fixed properly. Thank you.
Yeah, we certainly can. I don't even know if we have the plans back from when the construction was done in 2010. There's, we can, it's a hard thing to do because of the design goes from one pitch to another pitch to a flat portion. And like I said, when you start putting, there's an air conditioner, I believe, on the roof in the furnace system, and it's on the flatter area. When you start having those areas build up with ice and snow around them, sometimes they do leak. Even in new buildings, they do. So we certainly can look at the design. I would just, at the budget time, it was just to get some money in there to fix it again.
Mayor, thank you, Daryl. I don't think there's any choice but to get the roof fixed. And I would like to see you move ahead and get those quotes.
Okay.
Motion added to the motion then?
Sure.
That,
I think the direction is that Daryl proceeds with getting 3 quotes for the roof repair.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just read the roof repair at the Centerton Community Center be received, and further that council direct the CBO, Daryl Hall, to proceed with getting 3 quotes in order to get the roof fixed. There questions? Greg?
I guess Daryl, or through you, your worship, to Daryl, that I guess it's not going to happen now until the spring, right? Nobody would be going up on the roof now in the winter time, because I'm hoping that you'll have a date where the bidders can actually go up there and see what they're bidding on, and hopefully look at some type of warranty too in the future, that if we get this repaired and we spend another $8,000, that if they don't catch it, they can come back and continue to do some touch-ups until we find the leak.
Yeah, we certainly can go that route. It's not my suggestion for them to do it right now, because with any kind of roofing, it needs, warmer weather to seal properly, I think. So this time of year is tough. Hopefully we can control the leak a little bit until we do get it fixed.
Okay.
Which sort of relays into the roofing. So Daryl, will there be money? Are we using money out of the building to maintenance to fix the drywall and the painting and all the other damage that we have inside now? Or I guess there's no use in fixing that until we've done the roof, but I'm hoping next year in the bathroom and in the hallway, they can, whether Tim does it or somebody, to fix the drywall and paint it. And
Yeah, I think I didn't catch the first part of your question, Counselor Booth, sorry, but I think, yeah, we allotted for some money for paint and drywall fixture, if that's what you're asking, but.
yeah, okay.
But
thank
yeah,
you.
we'll wait till we know we have the roof completed and the leak fixed before we do fix that part.
Okay. All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daryl. Next on the agenda, report number PW 2021-16 from Brian McMillan, Manager of Public Works, Parks and Recreation, and it's dated today. And this is the driveway proposal on Drope Road. And Mark Hogg has asked for this. And at this time, just so those of you who can't see, Councillor Jim Hogg has left the chamber. Okay, so I'm going to read the motion to get it on the floor for you, Brian. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Alma Calderman approve the request of Mark Hogg to update a portion of the road allowance on Drope Road to a full township standard, including a cul-de-sac acceptable to the Manager of Public Works, Parks and Recreation. So an entrance can be developed off of Drope Road at Concession 3, part of Lot 22, former Alma Calderman, provided all costs are borne by the applicant, Mark Hogg. And further, that the mayor and the acting clerk of the Township of Alma Calderman be authorized to execute an agreement between the township and Mark Hogg for the upgrading of a portion of the road allowance between lots 22 and 23, concession 3, extending approximately 60 meters, extending north from County Road 24. And further, that once the road is brought up to a township standard satisfactory to the Manager of Public Works, Parks and Recreation, that a bylaw be passed to assume this portion of the road into the township road system. And further, that the Manager of Public Works, Parks and Recreation report be received and filed. Can I have a mover? Moved by Deputy Mayor Gibson and seconded by Councillor Booth. So we'll turn that over to you now. Brian?
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor Latchford and members of council. Yes, the report before you is opening up a small portion of Drope Road off of County Road 24 for the purpose of an entrance into Mark Hogg's property. Again, all costs would be assumed by the applicant. Again, I would inquire into an engineer to do design of this 60 meters of the road allowance. There would be a new road base put in, gravel, ditching, brushing. There would be some survey work done as well. We would need to assume a little bit of land on the Hogg property. So survey has to be done there to get enough room for a cul-de-sac. And again, the cul-de-sac, the purpose of that is to have enough room for public works vehicles, maintenance, emergency vehicles, garbage trucks, and that to turn around properly on the road allowance. Again, financial, again, all costs of this upgrade to the road allowance to bring it to a township standard would be by the applicant. And yeah, that's about all the comments I have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from council? Councillor Booth?
Just through you, your worship, to Brian. So the engineering costs and all that, does the applicant get the engineer, or does the town now have somebody that they go to do the engineering drawings and make sure it's all up to town spec?
Yeah, moving forward, that would be me getting a hold of an engineer that I've used in the past that will be doing our road upgrades or doing engineering on little pieces like this. And yeah, that's moving forward. We will be responsible for that, Councillor Booth.
Okay, and I guess one other question, and it's not really a concern about this one. This one looks fine. Is in the past, we had a Bevan Ridge, and maybe Troy can speak on this, which was, I believe, Hoskins and whatever, and that's 2 years, 3 years now, and it's still not completed. And I guess my concern is when we okay these things in the agreement, we don't really have a timeline on any of these things, which leaves it open. For example, the Hoskin one, where that road is still not completed yet. Are we looking at something that we could maybe have in there as a timeline or something so that they get these things done? I'll leave it with you, Troy.
Can we address that after we finish with
Sure,
this?
sure.
That's-
Yeah.
It's probably worthwhile
Well,
addressing.
Other than if you're going to put the timeline in here, like when you do the agreement, I don't know. Pat can.
And so it's staff's proposal that will bring back the bylaw with the agreement to our next meeting, and we can put that in the agreement.
Okay. Are
Yeah, and you
satisfied
decide
with
what,
that?
I don't even know. I'm not an expert at it, what the timeline is, whether it be a year or two. I just don't like to see it open where 5 years from now, you know, the group can come and finish their road.
You want to speak?
Yeah, I'll speak a little bit about it. Our new agreement will have timelines, or does have a timeline. The one on Bevan Ridge, that was our last road with agreement that we've had for many years prior. That is the reason why we did change and update our road extension agreement. So in the new agreement with all roads going forward, there is timelines in them.
Good to
And
know.
as far as Bevan Ridge, and Brian and I have talked, and he's in communications with the road builders to get that done as soon as possible.
Okay, good to have that all up to date. Brian?
Yes, if I just add to what the CAO said there. And this one scenario, for example, the one on Drove Road, the applicant would not, be able to get his building permit and that, either until this was done. So this will be something that takes effect, once the 50% securities are brought in, start, finish, and then, because the applicant will want to get this done to get his building permit process going as well.
Okay, thanks. I think it might be a time right now to say with the planning department, or with you maybe, Brian, that Mark is actually the agent for Jim Hogg. I know that Jim was talking to Pat about that, so that's here somewhere. Yeah, according to Pat. Okay. So all in favor of having this road open? Carried. Thank you. That's the only thing from you, Brian, today?
I believe so.
I'm looking for more paperwork here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, council.
Parks and Recreation Department, report number PC 2021-12 from Jennifer Steen, Parks, Recreation and Cultural Coordinator, dated today, Park and Recreation update. Be it resolved that the report from Jennifer Steen, Parks, Recreation and Cultural Coordinator, dated December 2nd, 2021, Repark and Recreation update be received and filed. Jennifer, you're on. There you are. Okay.
Thank you. This is just a
Oh,
monthly.
just a minute, I need a motion. I
Oh,
need a
sorry.
mover and a seconder. Moved by Deputy Mayor Gibson, second by Councillor Hogg. Okay. Do you
Thank
wish
you.
to speak to this?
Sure. It's just a monthly update on the arena numbers and community center numbers for programming and rented hours, and total users as well. Did want to just go over the events for December. So the Grafton Outdoor Christmas Market is this Saturday, December 4th, and Parks and Recreation will be participating by having a 3-hour sponsored skate And it's sponsored by Jacqueline Pennington, Remax Hallmark. And we're having holiday crafts for children and families on the upper floor of the arena from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also, this month, we're doing Winter Wonderland light display and contest. So we just launched that today. And we encourage residents and local businesses to show their holiday spirit by decorating their homes and businesses for the holiday season. And then you can go to our Let's Talk ahtwp.ca to pin their location on our interactive map. And then residents can use that map to create their own self-driving route to view the holiday lights and decorations within the township. Everyone who participates will be entered into a draw to win an hour of ice time at the Haldeman Memorial Arena and 10 garbage bag tags. You can register on our website as well. So our staff have been busy decorating the community centers and township buildings, and I hope to see lots of participation in this event for this month. The winner will be announced on January 3rd. On December 17th, there will be a skate with Santa at the arena. It'll be free with a non-perishable food item. And there will be some free sponsored public skates and fun skates over the Christmas break. So from December 20th to the 30th, and those details will be announced shortly. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Just a quick question. December 4th, is that 9 or 9:30 start?
The event starts at 9:30, but at the arena, it's just from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah, no, I was asking for, really sorry for the time the event started. Thanks. Any questions or comments for Jennifer?
I have one.
Jim?
Through you, your worship. I was wondering in Roseneath about our Christmas tree at the corner. Will it be lit up this year? Thank you.
The Christmas tree in front of the Alnwick Civic Center will be lit up, and we're going to encourage local residents to decorate it with ornaments. But I'm not sure about the tree. Is that at the
Four Corners?
At the Four Corners there at the War Memorial?
Yeah, no, yeah. I see there's a string of lights around the gazebo by the War Memorial, but the big tree right at the Four Corners, it usually is lit up with the lights, what do you call them?
LED, Christmas lights?
Yes, yes.
I forget.
On maybe just interject, that tree decorating always fell to the Roseneath Revitalization Committee. So I don't think that there's, I haven't heard that there's going to be decorating of that tree. It certainly is a bit of a landmark. It would be nice if we could do something, but I think one of the main proponents of getting that done has been Barry Serreris. And I think this is probably not the best time for him at this point.
I think really that staff should do that, because when the committees were disbanded, that was one of the questions that came from that committee: who's going to do the decorating if the committee members from Roseneath are no longer on the committee? So I think that we would be criticized for not getting lights on that big tree this year. So I think it needs to go to Public Works and Parks and Recreation to see that that's done.
Yeah.
Really.
I agree.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Jim. So we need to carry on some of the things that have been going on, and that was fairly big for that committee through the Christmas season. So we'll leave that in your hands, Jennifer.
Yes, I'll make sure that gets done this year.
Thanks. It probably as quickly as possible, because they had it done for the whole of December.
Okay.
Anything else? I'll call for the vote. Oh, sorry, Greg
Oh, no,
does.
vote on, are we voting on the tree thing? That's fine. I had
No,
another
we're
comment.
just voting on her report.
Oh, can I just ask one question through your worship? So Jennifer, the sponsored public skates over the Christmas break, the 20th to the 30th, are we going to be some type of advertisement or something for the local companies, hopefully that are sponsoring that? Would we put it on the website or on the LED board or anything? You know, I think it's much appreciated if local businesses are sponsoring an hour or two of free public skate for the kids. It would be good advertisement for the companies.
Yes, it will go on our social media, on our website, and on our LED sign at the arena.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we'll vote first on Jennifer's report. We have the motion moved by,
Mayor Gibson, seconded by Councillor Hawk.
the only one so far I haven't written down. All in favor? Carried. Now, do you want a motion, Pat, to put the lights on the
To
tree?
direct staff to, yes, install the
Okay.
lights on the Christmas tree.
Do you have it basically written?
No, but I can make it up here.
Okay.
Christmas tree in Roseneath as soon as possible.
Yes.
I have a question about that too. Do they need a lift or something, or is this something they just use a ladder?
They've always just worked
Is
them
it a big-
around and
Or they use a
I-
stick and how big's the tree? I don't know.
I think that's something for Public Works to go and have a look at.
yeah, because I know Donna Bevan and Barry Swearish used to put those lights up every year. So
That's a large tree.
And I think the lights are already on it.
Yeah, Brian will go look. He's the professional. He'll
Yeah.
be able to assess the situation.
Brian, do you like Christmas?
Love Christmas. Love
Oh, I'm
Christmas.
so happy to hear that. Our former Public Works was a Scrooge.
No. We'll make sure the tree is looking good in Roseneath.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Not a
Okay,
problem.
So ASAP, and I need a mover and a seconder, please.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Moved by Jim, seconded by Sherry. All in favor? Carrie. Committee reports. Recreation and Cultural Committee meeting minutes of October 5th. Heritage Alma Calderman Committee meeting minutes of October 31st. And Community Policing meeting minutes of November 9th. I'll read the motion, and if you wish to speak to any of them, we will. We'll have to speak to the Heritage one, and I'd like to speak to the Community Policing. And if Jennifer has anything to add to hers, or you have questions, we can do that one. Be it resolved that the Recreation and Cultural Advisory Committee meeting minutes of October 5th, 2021, the Heritage Alma Calderman Committee meeting minutes of October 31st, 2021, and the Community Policing minutes of November 9th, 2021 be received and filed. There might be some direction here first, so I'll just get the motion on the floor. Have a mover. Councillor Booth, second. Deputy Mayor Gibson. Any questions for Jennifer for her report? Her minutes? We're fine. The Heritage Alma Calderman Committee meeting minutes and the designation, this is where the designation is?
Yep.
The designation for the big house in Roseneath, 461 Line Road 4. This needs to go back to the clerk to go through the process because there has to be public notice. I think it's 30 days.
Yes.
And so that process has to be done and brought back to council. So this will come back to council at probably at one of our January meetings to do the actual designation. For Pat?
Oh, no, not that one.
No? Okay. And the community policing minutes, I did speak with the chair, Art, and after the November 11th at the Cenotaph in Grafton, this committee is dissolving, slowly dissolving, I guess is what I want to say. And I've spoke to him and he spoke to some of the other members about their reserve funding. They're very interested in supporting 1 or 2 black cats. So I've had a little discussion with Brian on that and with Troy. And so Brian's going to bring back a price of what a black cat is before we take any money out of that account. And I think what should be done is I just keep them up to date as we go along. Their interest is if the money is to be spent, they'd like it spent in Alma, Calderman, across the township, and on safety features. So we'll see what the black cats costs and go from there. That's okay. And the new business, just item 2, other items to note. That was one of the members who keeps his eye on things and wanted that information in the minutes. So, and the other thing is, Mr. Lansley, who's the chair, is more than willing to volunteer at events in the community if he's needed. So, good information for staff and especially Jennifer if there's bigger events and you need a volunteer. Okay, so I'll call for the vote on those that they be received and filed, and that the heritage one goes forward to the clerk. I guess I have to add that in there to come back in the 30 days after the process. Yes, Greg.
Just a question through your worship to Jim about the Heritage Committee minutes. Jim, were they discussing the Wicklow building down there that we looked at in our tour of what they're looking at doing with that, with the window and the siding, or have they decided anything? Or
They never decided anything, and I expected to see it come up in budget, and it never. So at the moment, I do not know what they intend on doing.
okay,
They'll likely wait till spring now.
yeah, I was hoping they were looking at maybe a fundraiser or something to do that, but I mean, we looked at it, the windows are bad, but the siding and everything, the longer it goes like that, the worse it's going to get.
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All in favor? Carried. Communications. The first one. This is correspondence from Township of Lake of the Bay. Be it resolved that the correspondence from the Township of Lake of the Bay dated November 9th, 2021, re-support for the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit. Request for additional COVID-19 funding be received and filed, be received. And further, we need council's direction on this one. Do you wish to support it or receive and file? This is more funding. Our funding's pretty well okay, I think, with COVID, is it not? That's what I was thinking. So receive and file?
I'd be happy to receive and file.
Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Gibson to receive and file. Second, Councillor Hogg, all in favor? Carried. Correspondence from Lisa M. Thompson, Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs. This is a cost share initiative with dead stock management. Be it resolved that the correspondence from Lisa M. Thompson, Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, dated November 19th, 2021, re-Canadian Agricultural Partnerships, CAP in brackets, cost share initiative, dead stock management be received, and we need council's direction on this, but as I was discussing with Pat, I'm not sure that this is an issue in our township, and we have the livestock evaluator. So I guess we can ask Jim the question. Is this an issue
I don't think so.
that you're aware of?
It's not a big issue in this township, no.
Okay. So people then would just dispose of their own dead lives.
Most people do, yes.
Yeah, okay. So we can receive and file this letter. Have a mover?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, second, Counselor Booth, I saw your hand up. All in favor? Carried. We have a list of 4 correspondence letters here. I'm going to read the motion as it includes them all. Be it resolved that the following correspondence be received and filed. The Township of Lake of the Bays dated November 9th, 2021, resolution supporting request from the Township of Adelaide Metcalfe for federal and provincial funding for rural infrastructure projects. And Northumberland County dated November 17th, 2021, resolution supporting request from the town of Scugog to encourage the province of Ontario and government of Canada to provide more funding to rural infrastructure projects. And the Township of Armanath dated November 23rd, 2021, resolution supporting request from the Township of Lake of Bays for the federal and provincial governments to provide more funding to rural infrastructure projects, and the Township of Wainfleet dated November 23rd, 2021, resolution supporting requests from the Township of Lake of Bays for federal and provincial funding for rural infrastructure projects. Have a mover, please. Councillor Hogg, Deputy Mayor Gibson, any comments or questions or anything different than receive and file? All in favor? Carried. Correspondence from AMO Communications, November 10th, the County of Northumberland, November 15th. And that's the free tree saplings through the Emerald Ash Borer, Lower Trent Conservation Transition Plan, and Lower Trent Conservation dated November 11th. Provincial funding for conservation authorities. Be it resolved that the following correspondence be received and filed. AMO Communications dated November the 10th, 2021, re-AMO watch file issue, and the County of Northumberland dated November 15th, 2021, re-media advisory, free tree saplings through Emerald Ash Borer replacement tree program, and Lower Trent Conservation re-transition plan. And the Lower Trent Conservation dated November the 11th, 2021, re-provincial funding for conservation authorities. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Sherry, Deputy Mayor Gibson, second. Councillor Booth, all in favor? Carried. So now we'll go into the bylaws. First bylaw number 127-2021, and this is appointment of board members to the Alma Calderman Public Library. Be it resolved that bylaw number 127-2021, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 42-2015, being a bylaw to establish a public library in the township of Alma Calderman, regarding the appointment of board members to the Alma Calderman Public Library under Section 10 of the Public Libraries Act, be read and deemed to be passed the second day of December 2021. Have a mover? Councillor Hogg, second. Councillor Booth, all in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 139-2021, and this is the prescribe and establish the process for the time setting open air fires in AH Township. Be it resolved that bylaw number 139-2021, being a bylaw to prescribe and establish the process for the time for setting open air fires in the township of Alma Calderman, and the precautions to be observed, and to establish and set fees, charges, and penalties thereof, be read and deemed to be passed the second day of December 2021. Mover? Councillor Booth, second. Councillor Hogg, All in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 140, 2021. This is to appoint a municipal auditor. Be it resolved that bylaw number 140, 2021, being a bylaw to appoint a municipal auditor for the fiscal years from 2021 to 2025, be read and deemed to be passed the second day of December 2021. And that auditing firm will again be Baker Tilly. Do I have a mover? Councillor Hogg, second. Deputy Mayor Gibson. All in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 141-2021 to appoint a part-time deputy fire prevention chief. Be it resolved that bylaw number 141-2021, being a bylaw to appoint a part-time deputy fire prevention chief for the Township of Alma Calderman Fire Rescue Department, effective December 2nd, 2021, be read and deemed to be passed the second day of December 2021. Mover? Councillor Bruce, second. Councillor Hogg, all in favor? Carried. Are there any announcements or notice of motions? Councillor Philp is absent at this time. Councillor Booth?
Nothing at this time.
Councillor Hogg?
I have nothing at this time.
Okay. Myself, I was just going to give a reminder of December 4th, the show here, but we did that through Jennifer's report as well. So reminder to myself to check the start time. Deputy Mayor Gibson?
Thank you. The publication, just the facts, kind of breezed through it. It's very well done. Lots of great information. So I'm going to say hats off to you and your staff, whomever did that. There is one small spelling mistake. I wondered if it's gone out yet.
What, okay, well, you can tell us and we'll make.
Just if we could, and maybe even just make a correction now, that the awarding of the building for Centerton Public Works is Dalren, Dalren. And it's listed in the newsletter as Darlin, DA, like it's just
Okay,
been,
Oh,
just,
okay,
So
we'll
it
make
is-
those changes. Yeah, we had a couple other little changes that we had to do too. so.
Dalren, but by and large, an excellent report. That just sums everything up so
And
nicely.
you know what? Thank you for that. And I will pass that on to Jennifer Steen. She's done
Yeah,
a majority of, if not all the work on it. So,
Okay, she did a great job.
yep.
okay. Approval of the confirming bylaw. Bylaw number 142, 2021, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular council session held on Thursday, December 2nd, 2021, be read and deemed passed the second day of December 2021. Mover, Sherry, second. Jim, all in favor? Carried. I'll let you move to adjourn here. Greg, I'll put your name down.
Sure.
Okay, I saw you were kind of waving there. Be it resolved that the regular council session of Thursday, December 2nd, 2021 be adjourned at 1:48 PM. Moved by Councillor Bruce, second. Councillor Hogg, all in favor? Carry. Had a meeting that